Okay, so we are back again. Back again. We're doing a Holy Grail series. One of my go-to dishes, super just like soul filling. Like it just hits you right where you need to be hit. Risotto. Just a classic Parmesan risotto, nothing crazy. You can, a risotto is one of those things where you can really start to add a bunch of different things to it: peas, mushrooms, bacon, you know, more mushrooms, whatever you're feeling, and it takes it on very easily. Seafood too goes really well: scallop, shrimp, lobster. But I just wanted to show you how to make a really good base risotto, and then from here you can start to add on all kinds of crazy stuff. So, like I said, as always, it's super simple, just a few ingredients here. You won't need a lot, and I promise it's not intimidating. So let's get right into it, please. Okay, we're back. We are making one of my favorites, just a classic risotto. Nothing crazy, no additions here, but like I said, the fun part is what you add to it. But you need a good base, so let's get that down first. So I'm starting with one white onion. I'm just going to peel that and dice that, and then I'm going to get that into the pan along with some garlic. So as always, same dicing method I've used in almost every video I think so far. Just the little finky method is what I call it. You just want to make your cuts about 90% of the way down the onion, and then go in the opposite direction, as you can see I'm doing here. Usually I'll do like anywhere from like 2 to 4 different cuts going up the onion, depending on how thick she is. And then you just make your slices down and you're left with a beautiful dice. So I'm going to take this 1/2 of a white onion that I just diced, and I'm going to get that into my pot. So I'm just taking a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to throw that in with my onions as well. That's probably 2 tablespoons. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and go ahead and turn that burner on. So you don't really want to get any major color on the onions at this point when you're sauteing them. All you want to do is just like soften them, like sweat them out basically, like until they become very, very slightly translucent. And while they're doing that, you can go ahead and chop up some garlic. So I have just about 3 cloves here. I'm going to go ahead and peel them very quickly, and then just run through them with a knife real quick. Nothing crazy, just get them small enough to where they're relatively the same size as your onion pieces. So once you have all that garlic chopped into your same pan that you have your onions with, and then just go ahead and keep that mixing around. And again, you want to make sure your heat is low enough to where you're not really giving any color to the onions, and specifically not the garlic, because that garlic will burn very quickly. You don't want to have burnt garlic in your risotto. So now you can go ahead and put in your rice. Specifically for risotto, you have to use either an arborio or a cannaroli rice, something along those lines, because they are a very short grain rice with a high amount of starch. So it works really well in this scenario, because you're relying on the starch to create that like traditional super smooth and velvety texture that you get in risotto. All right, pause here a second, because this wine, can we talk about the label? Number one, is gorgeous, but number two, I was so thankful to have Wide Roots, who imports and sells wines in the Baltimore area, reach out and send me a few bottles to try and play with, and I will never ever say no to wine. So I chose to use this Vermentino in this risotto. It goes amazingly. Of course, I got to drink some of it, and usually you shouldn't really use like a super high quality wine like this for cooking, but I figured, c'est la vie, live in the moment, threw a little bit in there, and it just really brings the risotto up to the next level. I will put all of his contact information and his website and his Instagram page in the link in the description. Go check him out. He has a ton of other wines. We're going to be doing a few other videos with some different wines in the future, but this was one of my favorites, so I had to get it out ASAP. I drank the rest of that bottle that day. So once you have your wine into your risotto, what you want to do is just reduce that down until it's basically back to dry and there's no liquid in there, and then put in a little bit of your stock. So I'm using chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock if you want to. You could even use beef stock. Just keep in mind with that, whatever stock you use, it's going to directly correlate the basically like the end result flavor of your risotto. So like for example, a vegetable stock will give you something that's a little bit on the lighter side, not as flavored, whereas chicken stock is kind of like that happy medium between vegetable and beef. And then beef stock will give you that like really full-bodied risotto flavor. So when you're adding the stock, you want to just do like 1 or 1.5 ladles at a time, fully incorporate it, let it cook down, let it get really nice and thick again, and then add a little bit more. You don't want to add all of it at once, because then the rice will cook unevenly and it might even overcook and get a little bit too soft, which you don't want. So that's why you can see me adding it in increments to make sure that it's not, you know, overcooking or undercooking at all. It's staying at one consistent temperature and doneness until the very end, where we have nice, you know, little al dente bits of risotto. So once you're happy with the texture and the consistency of a risotto, make sure you try it. It should have a little bit of bite, but it's still not crunchy at all. You don't want any crunchy risotto. Go ahead and turn your burner on to low, and then at this point is when you can mix in, you know, whatever else you want to mix in. So like I said, since I'm just doing like a base risotto, I'm not adding in anything crazy. I just did some shredded parmigiano, some chopped parsley, a little bit more salt and pepper, and I'm gonna juice 1 lemon in there as well. Give that all a mix. I'm gonna throw some butter in too. Can't forget about the butter. So like I said, I just added all that stuff in. The butter is coming shortly. I promise I would not forget about the butter. What that does is really helps you give like a really beautiful sheen and shine to your risotto at the very end, because it like, I don't know the science behind it, but it like combines with all the other like liquids and fats already in the risotto, and it gives you this like, it's like when you polish a car, like you're just polishing your risotto right now. It's a must. It's a must. One final mix. She looks gorgeous. Look at that. That is my favorite consistency for risotto. Definitely not too thick to where it like sits like in a meatball shape on your plate, but not too thin to where it's too soupy. I think this is like that perfect middle ground for just eating it like in a bowl, like as you can see what I'm doing here. You know, and you can do different consistencies where you're adding more stock or using less stock to cook a risotto, and it really ends up with like I said, with the stock, with what your end product is. So like if you're gonna make some arancini, which are fried risotto balls, you're gonna want your risotto to be a little bit on the thicker side so it holds up better. Or if you're gonna do maybe like a risotto paired with like a veal shank or something like that, where you don't want the risotto to be fighting, you know, fighting for that spotlight, then I would maybe do it a little bit on the thinner side, keep it a little bit more subdued, and have it be like one of those beautiful backup dancers. All right, so we did it. We made it. Super easy. It looks beautiful, honestly. Like I outdid myself here. Look at this. It's so simple. Again, this is a really good base. So it's great on its own, but it gets even better as you start to add things, mushrooms, like I said, scallops, lobster. You could even do like maybe pork in here. I don't know, you tell me. It's all cute. But turned out very beautifully. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to Russ from Wide Roots. He was so gracious enough to send me over a few bottles of this wine that he imports straight from Italy. It's so good. Let me tell you, I haven't had a really good Italian wine in quite some time that isn't super expensive, and this is beautiful. It retails for right around $19. If you're in the Baltimore area, they sell it at quite a few different shops around here. It's all gonna be in the link in the description. So be sure to check him out. He owns a wine company called Wide Roots. Again, his name is Russ. Huge shout out to him. We got a lot more coming with him, let me tell you, because I'm a huge wino and he's a big foodie. So that kind of relationship right there is just a beautiful thing. So again, as always, thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna get right into this. I need to finish this glass of wine and then I'm going to bed after this. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, smile, and smash the fucking like button, please. How's that sound? Goodbye.